Thanks for tuning in to episode 3 of Positive Power with Michele Dionne. It's a beautiful fall day out there today here in southwestern Ontario. Temperatures are a little cooler. We saw some snow on Saturday. Everybody gets their feathers in a little ruffle when they see some snow, which is sort of funny because it is Canada after all. What do we expect? It's going to snow. It's going to come. It's just a matter of when. Here we've seen it as early as October, which is where we are now, or we've seen it where we've gone all the way to after Christmas and not seen a speck of snow. So it is what it is. It'll come when it's ready. Some things we can't control. That's one that we can't. But what we can control is what's going on up here and thinking positive and staying positive. So that's why we're gathered together now, right? We're going to have some positive news together. So thanks for listening in. And I got some great stories to share. So I started out by going to the Good News Network, and I found some really cool stories. The first one I came across is about teens that won't rest until vets do. And what they're talking about is that quite often vets come back to their home country, whether it be Canada or the States, and they're suffering from PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. Aha. So that's what they're suffering from, and it comes with a variety of different symptoms. One of which is night terrors, where they wake up in the middle of the night and they think they're back in a scene of the war or something they've gone through. Maybe they're having a flashback. Maybe it's something completely new and different, but it's terrifying and startling for them, for their spouse, for all involved. So there's a son of a vet that's dealing with this, and so he sees his father and what he's dealing with. So he came up with an idea. Him and his buddies entered the Hack DC contest, and what that is that's a contest in DC, obviously, where they go and they come up with different apps for different things. So what they did in 36 hours, which is pretty remarkable on its own, what they did is they came up with an app that it goes in through a phone that can be connected through Bluetooth, and it picks up on your heart rate and different triggers in your body when you're going into these night terrors. And after they've got a record of what your body does before that happens, then it programs it into the system so that it will start alerting you and waking you up before you actually get into the full-fledged night terrors. What an awesome idea that is. And isn't it amazing that it came from teenagers? This new generation, boy oh boy, they're changing it all, and I love that. That's so exciting. So that's what they're doing. It's still in the development stage, but they've got funding now. They've got a lot of interest around the world, and they're hoping that it's available by summer 2016. So what a great story that is. And just the fact that they're being, proactive. They're seeing a problem. There's problems everywhere. Solutions. We need to be solutions people. Not problem people. You can't avoid the problem, but there's always a solution. Where there's a will, there's a way. You look at the last 100 years and all the things that have changed and been developed just in 100 years. Imagine what can happen in the next 100 if we think outside the box, right? So many things that, 100 years ago, would they have thought that we would be flying in jet planes and on the internet and pressing a button to get in your car? Like, wow, just so amazing the leaps and bounds that humanity has gone through. And don't lose faith, because there's a lot more in store, and it's awesome stuff, great stuff. Here's another thing. It's all a matter of perspective, right? And everything happens for a reason, and all that stuff. So this is an interesting story. This is in Sacramento, and when I believe it was the mother of the bride, when she found out that her daughter and her fiance were no longer getting married. Now, I don't know if they completely broke up or they just canceled the wedding, what the deal was. But, quite often when you're booking a wedding, you start a a year in advance. You have to put up all the money way in advance. Everything's paid for. So that party's happening whether they get married or not. There's a point of no return there. So when this mother found out that her daughter and fiance were not getting married anymore, she went and didn't cancel it because it would have been pointless. So she turned around and she invited 100 people that are homeless people or just living in a poor environment, don't have a lot of money. She invited them all to make the most of the dinner and the reception. $35,000 she had spent. Wow. She had spent on this reception and this meal. It was a high-end restaurant in a hotel. So she went, she invited all these people. Some of them were little families for an amazing meal. And what an amazing thing that is. You know, it's unfortunate, I'm assuming, I don't know, maybe it's not unfortunate, but whatever happened for those two people to decide not to get married, what an amazing thing to come from that. You know, that these people were inspired with some hope, might have been the best meal that they've had for who knows how long. Just an amazing story, an amazing turn of events, you know, and if people see that and everybody just starts to do something a little bit nicer for somebody else, what a wonderful world we will be in. And I say it positively like that. I say it like I know that it's coming, because I know that it's coming. We just all have to do our part. Have you done a random act of kindness lately? You know, last week, last Thursday actually, I was going through Tim Hortons and I decided to buy coffees for the next couple people that were behind me. So when I got up to the window, I asked the girl, what'd the guy order behind me? Because I don't have very much money. And then she says, oh, we just ordered a extra large double or whatever. So I said, okay. And then I said, what about the car behind him? And I actually knew the girl in that car. And then she says, oh, she ordered 2 coffees. So my 1 coffee, the dude behind me's 1 coffee, and then the girl behind them, 2 coffees. The whole adventure of my random act of kindness, which affected 3 people, right? I assume, because it was 3 coffees plus my own, cost me $8 and change. And you know, I went back to the Tim Hortons later, and the girls that were working there said I was they didn't know who I was, because I don't stick around, right? Like, that's how I roll. I don't think I should do it expecting anything back. So I just paid for it and I took off. But they said that everybody started doing it. It started a chain reaction. So like that guy already had his $2 in his hand. So then he paid for somebody else's, probably the next person who had just a single coffee. And then the person behind them that had the 2 coffees did the same thing. What a wonderful wave of reaction that just keeps on giving and giving and giving. Like, that was at probably 10:30 in the morning. So, you know, that might have gone on till lunchtime. You know, like, how awesome is that? And it's just so easy. All those people got a little blast of positivity, even if just for a moment, and it cost me $8. I think that's a pretty sound investment. You know, I talk a lot on different sources of media that I utilize, whether it's like radio or whatever, and I talk quite a bit about, you know, when I win the lottery, all this stuff that I'm going to do. And it occurred to me the one day, why do I have to wait for the lottery to do it? Why can't I do it now? So that's what I've started doing. I've started doing it now. And you know, on Thursday, I bought those coffees for those people. Then I went and I bought a lottery ticket. And there was one of my daughter's 21. There was one of her friends that were there at the gas station, and we were talking about how I want to be on Ellen. And so we were talking, and I bought this $2 ticket, and I said to her, hey, sign this for me. So we both signed the ticket. So it didn't end up being a winner, but if it did end up being a winner, we would have split it 50-50. Another random act of kindness, right? And then the same day, I saw somebody I knew standing at a bus stop. It was starting to rain. So I circled around and I gave her a ride. And you know, She wasn't going my way. She was going to the total opposite end of town. Sarnia is not a big town where we live, so not a big deal. I think I spent 7 minutes. So, recap of the whole day. I started a chain reaction of free coffees at the Tim Hortons. I welcomed somebody into my world to share a lottery ticket, so I hope she did some daydreaming all day about if we won, how awesome that would be. Because daydreaming and visualization is very powerful. And I gave somebody a ride. And she got to keep her $2.50 or whatever it was she would have spent on the bus. Saved her from getting wet. And maybe she had some extra time to browse through the mall. Because that's where I ended up taking her to. So I felt really good. And I think they felt really good. And total dollars spent. What was a $2 ticket? So $10 and change. See how easy that is? And you can do it too. So I challenge you. I challenge you in the next week to do a couple random acts of kindness. Just little stuff like that. Nothing heavy. If you're in the Tim Hortons or wherever it is you buy your coffee and the person behind you bought 8 sandwiches, 2 donuts, and a bagel, okay, don't do it that time. Nobody says you have to sell the farm. Nobody says you have to, get out of your safety zone or your comfort zone. You'll know. Just follow your gut. When you get that little inspired, hey, that guy's by himself in the car behind me. Maybe he's just having one thing I can afford. Give it a try. You've got nothing to lose. So thanks for listening in. It's been a great show. It's been a great day. And it's going to be a great week. So don't forget, if nothing else, you are awesome. You're awesome. You're amazing. And damn, I like that shirt on you. Have a great week. See you next time.